Hello and welcome back everyone to my channel. Today's video we will look at a real life scenario. We will work through a data which has duplicate rows but with different amount of data in each duplicate row. And our goal is to retain duplicate rows with maximum data. We will be utilizing drop duplicate function of Python pandas along with sort values, duplicated, apply and lambda functions. So let's jump right into it. Let's go ahead and load in the libraries. We import pandas as pd. You can use any other abbreviation, but I would suggest to use pd for sake of consistency. Others can follow your code as well. Right. So we are going to use the same file we used in previous video, walmart.xlsx. This is in the same directory as the code is, so you don't have to mention the full path. If it's in a different directory as your code, then you will have to mention the full path. So we load in the data frame, we mention the file name, and then we give it the engine as openpyxl. Then we use head functions to check the top three rows just to see if the data is being loaded correctly. So it seems like data is being loaded correctly, right? Okay, so we are going to use duplicated functions to see what serial numbers are duplicate in all of this data set. So let me pull up the Excel file really quick so we can see what the actual data looks like. Alright, so this is the actual data. As you can see, I already highlighted serial numbers which are duplicate rows. So it's serial 3 and serial 6, and you can see that both rows have different values. So this row of serial 3 has this data missing and this data missing, and same case serial 6 in row 9 we have this data missing and we have this data missing, and for same one row below we have all of the data available in all of the cells. All right, so let's close this up and let's go back to our Jupyter notebook. In order to see all of the duplicate values, we can use duplicate function. We can use keep function as false, so it shows all of the duplicate rows. So right, so in pandas, to select a column, what you need to do is select the data frame's name, and then you open the square brackets, and then in single quotes you put in the column name. So let's see what this column has. Alright, so we selected this column serial from the data frame df, and it gives us the value of the whole column which we selected. So 0 1 2 3. So keep in mind this is the index column, the first one, and this is the serial column which we can see that has some duplicate values, so 3 3 and 6 6. Right, so if we want to apply some function to it, we can do is we can keep the column selected. I'm going to uncomment this section here. You normally use pound sign to comment the section. Then you do is dot duplicated, and we would use keep equals false to not drop any duplicate rows. Right, so what this normally does is this would give you a boolean indexing and a true false result. So as we seen before, there was some duplicate values here and there was some here. So what we need to do now is to apply this filter or this indexing on the actual data frame. Once we do that, result will show only the rows with duplicate values, and it will make sure to not drop any duplicate rows because we selected keep equals false. So you can see here that the serial 3 has 2 duplicate rows, serial 6 has 2 duplicate rows as well. But keep in mind that some row has more data and some rows has less data. So for example, this is index 3 and 4. So index 3 has this value missing, this value missing, this as well, but the index value at 4 has these values available plus this additional value on the extra info column. Okay, now what we gonna do is we will create a column using apply and lambda function that will sum up count of empty cells in each of the row. So what this does is, this lambda function will do is, it will go through all of the cells of each row. So it will, first iteration, it will go through first row and each cell. So it will go through column wise because we selected the axis as columns. Let's run this and see what it creates. Alright, so what it has done is, it has created a new column which is giving us the count of empty cells in each of the row. For example, if I show head in here, if I show first few rows of the data frame, we can see here that it created a new column. It says count of empty cells and it's 2 2 2. So if we move, if we let's say do tail, it might show us different result. Okay, so same, because the rows we need are in the middle. So let me do tail 10. So now it will show us the result for the rows which are problematic. So for example, this row has some data missing, so these are nan, this is also missing, so it's giving us 4. So 1 2 3 and 4, so 4 cells have missing values, so it's giving us a count of 4. This only has 2 missing values, so 1 2, so it's giving us a count of 2. All right, moving on. Let's filter the rows where the serial number equals to 3. So I'm just going to comment this section out so we can apply the filter. So as you can see that filter has pulled out the resulting values. You can see that 2 different rows, one is index 3, one is index 4, and we can see here that the row at index 4 has lesser data missing, as we can see here from the count of empty cells. So 4 means that we have 4 cells with missing data, and 1 means that we only have 1 cell with missing data. Here the 4 cells mean that 1 2 3 and 4, right? So if we want to further select the specific columns, let's say if we don't want to see all of this data, we can do further indexing on this. That we can do by using double bracket. So one of the bracket is for passing the multiple values as a list, and the other square bracket is for indexing. Let's run this and see what it pulls up. Okay, so as you can see that it's now only showing the specific columns we asked it to pull up, and it's showing it correctly. Count 1 means that we only have 1 cell from the whole row is missing data. 4 counts means that 4 cells from this whole row are missing data. To achieve what we need, we will sort our data frame as ascending based off count of empty cells. So the rows with minimum missing data comes to the top. The filter below confirms that. So let's do this and let's see where it shows up. So as you can see here that after sorting this data frame by ascending using count of empty cells, the rows with the least missing cells brings up to the top, and the rows with maximum or more missing values goes down to the bottom. Now what we can do is we will drop duplicates, keeping only the first result for each duplicate value. We can do that by using df.drawDuplicates. We are going to tell it to serial, and the criteria will be each and drop all of the rest. Let's do that and see the head. So obviously not going to show the exact serial number, so we will apply the filter again, and let's see for comparison purpose. So as you can see here, before serial number 3 had 2 rows, now it only has 1 row, and it has successfully retained the row with minimum missing values. That's it for this video. If you like the video, please click like and subscribe, and ask any questions in the comment section below.